Adam Christ for MyMMAnews.com, and I am being joined by Deanna Vitamin D Bennett. She will be taking on Liz Carmouche. It is going down at Bellator 294 in beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii. It's going down April 21st for the Bellator Flyweight Championship. So Deanna said it before the interview started, and I couldn't agree with her more. I've been trying to make this interview happen for some time. I finally got her locked down. Deanna Bennett, how are you?
I'm good. And like I said before the interview as well, I'm a little bit late because I was going for a run, and that describes my appearance right now. So if I'm red-faced and out of breath, it's because I was running to prepare for my fight. So sorry, y'all, that you have to see me like this.
I think she means she looks absolutely beautiful. So we're going to move forward from that one.
I'll take it.
Again, so this matchup, it's something that you've been waiting for quite some time. 2 years in the making, the initial matchup. But since this time, it's for the title. So not only it's an opportunity for you to vindicate a previous loss, which is always sweet, but it's for the title belt. How much sweeter does this make this, or does it even factor into your head?
Oh no, it's factored into my head, honestly. And I'll be honest, as soon as I got out of the cage on that first fight, I had to get carried out of there because she didn't injure me. Let me just make that really clear. I just had a freak injury happen in the very third round of the fight. They carried me out. I'm on my way to the hospital, and you can ask my friend Kelly. She was in the corner with me. I was like, I'm going to see her again. I'm going to see her again in the cage. And it's playing out exactly how I envisioned it, because I knew that she would go on, win a couple more fights and get the belt. And I knew that I would come back after that injury, find my way back into the cage, fight a few more times, win my way to a title shot, and that my title shot would be my rematch with her. You ask anyone, after I got out of that first fight, even before I had surgery on my leg and everything, like, this is the way it's going to go down. This is the way it's going to happen. And look where we are. It's playing out exactly like that. And so, I have been waiting for this for so long and working hard for this. It's not like I was just waiting and like, it might happen, it might not. I'm like, no, I'm gonna make sure it happens, because I'm gonna put in the work. I'm gonna put myself in the position to get that title shot, and I'm gonna put my position to get that win back. It was a good fight. Freak injury happened, which led to her winning. And I think about it every single day. And I want this more than anything. Absolutely more than anything.
Like you said you want this more than anything. And not only that, you haven't been sitting around. You've put in the work, which is something I say a lot of the youth nowadays, they struggle to find that balance of putting in the work and expecting the results. You've been putting in that hard work. So again, that just has to make all the fruits of your labor that might come out with a championship win that much sweeter.
Absolutely. I've been in this game for a really long time. Some days I'm surprised that I'm still doing it, but that's just because I love it so much. And I have unfinished business. There's things that I want to accomplish in this sport. And this is the big one. This is what I've been waiting for. And so I'm going to put myself, like I said, I'm putting myself in the position to be the best fighter and be the best athlete, basically, in general, that I could be. It's the best version of me that's going to be in that cage.
Man, I feel like you're segueing me to a question I have later, and I want to ask it now, but I'm gonna keep it on the back burner for later. So patience, right? But with all that you just said, Liz has had some time to elevate her game, and I know that you've mentioned you were at her last fight. I was listening to my man Mike Pendleton. Shout out Mike Pendleton, that's my guy.
Okay.
But he when you were talking with him, you said you were at her last fight, and you mentioned that you saw her calling out everybody except you. So now, you're the one that gets the shot. All eyes on you. How does that make this bout that much sweeter? It's like the icing just keeps adding on top of this cupcake.
I know. I said the icing is like this high right now. It's
right?
Wonderful. It's like my former fat kid is just like, ooh, icing. Love it. That has to wait 8 weeks before I have anything like that.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately. But
unfortunately.
Yeah, it's okay. It's worth it. But then after the fight, I'm gonna get real fat in Hawaii with all of the food. It's gonna be great. They're gonna have to like roll me home. I might not even be allowed on the plane. It's gonna be wonderful. I it's everything. You know, I went to that fight, still not knowing if when I was fighting, what's going on. Like I kept on hearing like, okay, they're working on something for you. They're working on something for you. And it's like my impatient self, like I'm my happiest when I'm in fight camp, when I have a goal that I'm working towards, when I have like a specific date, like, okay, this is where I plan my whole life around it. Cause like, you know, I outside of camp, I'm still training every day. I'm still focused. I'm still working on being a better fighter. But I need to have that date. I need to have that goal, the end line that I'm working towards. And so I was like not sure. And so I went to her fight, saw her, and you know, I wanted to see what happened. And you know, I was definitely rooting for Liz. Um, not not because I was like, well, if she wins, then I'm for sure going to get a title shot. And I was like, no, I'm going to get the title shot either way. It's going to happen. But, you know, I want that rematch. And I saw how much she wanted that. And that's actually part of her fight that it made me excited because, you know, the first one was controversial, whatever. I didn't think it was controversial. I thought she did an excellent job of getting that crucifix, and the former champ wasn't defending it. And so I thought it was a good stoppage personally. But seeing the interviews with Liz leading up to that, and then seeing the fight itself, she came in there to prove a point. And that is what made me excited, because I'm like, that right there, that is somebody that is a fighter that I can appreciate. And that's a fighter that, you know, she is working hard towards her goals, and she's putting everything that she has into the fight. She was not leaving the cage without that belt. And I was like, that's the kind of person that I want to test myself against. That is the kind of fighter that I want to be facing in the cage, because those are the fights, you know, the ones that scare you a little bit, but the ones that just give you that extra fire and extra motivation to work harder and practice. I'm like, that's what I want. And then, of course, she goes out to call out multiple people who I'm like, okay, like I get it. They're great fighters, but they're on a 1-fight win streak. Like, yeah, 1-fight win streak, and that's it. And like one of them had lost like, what was it, 3 out of their last 4, and the other one they had lost one. They won one, but the one before that they had lost against Liz. And so it's like, they really made their way back up to a title shot? Like, no, I have 3 fights, and I don't. I'm not going to say, oh, it's because she doesn't want to see me across from her in the cage. She doesn't want that fight again. But when I get in there in the cage, I'm going to make sure that that's not the fight that she wants. Absolutely. And yeah, it's that extra icing, it's that extra motivation. And, you know, I've been like on cloud 9 and just so happy in my trainings, and so happy just in general, because this is everything that I've wanted.
And Mike touched on this a little bit, and I just kind of want to elaborate on it. That when you guys talked in December, it was you were asking for a title shot. I'm not a title shot, but a fight. All you wanted for Christmas was a fight, pretty much. And now
Yes.
Here you are with a title shot. So it's almost like not only are you getting a fight, but you're getting the title shot. And at Philly, as far as Philly goes, you're at a murderer's row gym. I mean, the fire in there is absolutely insane. So going from your first performance to this performance that is about to take place, can you talk to me about the little bit of the training room? I mean, that Philly dynamic that you guys have, how has it reforged Deanna Bennett?
I am so grateful every day to be able to walk into those doors at Marquez MMA and be able to train in the room with those people. I was at a different gym in Jersey the last time I fought Liz, and I'm not gonna lie, I loved it there. I loved my coach, I loved the team, but I didn't have that extra little drive at practice. Like I didn't have people that were pushing me hard every single day. And you know, I just felt like there was so much more that I could do. And so that's why I had my friend, he told me about Marquez MMA and the training there. And I was like, okay. And so I started cross training there. And that was where I walked in and I felt the intensity on that very first day that I went. It was a sparring day. So we went and we were sparring, and I'm like, this drive, this intensity, the feel of the room. I'm like, I don't ever want to leave. Like, I want to be here. This is the spot that I want to be at. And it's what kept on bringing me back. And I got to a point where it was like, it was hard to go to my other trainings because over there I didn't have the training partners. And like I said, I wasn't getting that push. And so it's like, I felt like I could be so much more of a fighter if I was getting that push. And so eventually some stuff went down and I made the move. And I can't tell you how happy I am to be here in Philly, which is a weird thing to say, being from California. And I'm like, somehow through, I always say when people are like, oh, you came from Utah, you came from California, like, what are you doing out here? And I was like, I got in my car one day and I just got lost and then somehow ended up on the East Coast. And then I just never left. So to be in Philadelphia, just like I think grit is the best word to describe it, honestly. There's just this extra hunger with the fighters, this extra fire that they have. I don't know if it's because it's cold and everybody's angry and the threat of being shot or stabbed every day is really an all-time high. So I don't know if it's that, but like whatever it is, I'm here for it and I love it. I love it.
From the outside looking in, you know, I find that whole dynamic of the Marquez Gracie building, the training room, the all the athletes that go, it's almost mysterious to me, because the same story that you just told me, I've talked to several other fighters that share similar stories. As you know, I have some close friends that train at the same school, at the same gym as you do, and they've had similar stories where they were training elsewhere and then it's like, oh well, they heard about this spot, checked it out, and then it's just they couldn't leave. They couldn't go back. It was something about that spot that lured them in. And now it's blossomed into something absolutely special in the UFC, in Bellator, in the regional scene. It's exploded in the past couple of years.
Absolutely. Like, if you see a level of talent in that room, like, you know, of course, you know, your Sean Brady's, you know, your Joe Pikers, you know that, but of course, they're a big dynamic on the team, but there's so many other people that are working their way up that you don't know them now, but you will. It's only a matter of time. You will know them eventually because they're putting in the work with these people and driving and everybody that steps onto those mats, you know, it's do or die there. It's a dog eat dog gym. Like, if you're not on their level with the intensity of the training, like you're never going to cut it. And I love that. I love that completely. It's either get on the level with the rest of their team, because if you're working hard, you're pushing your training partners hard and we're being a good team together. But if not, you're not going to make it. And, you know, that's fine. You can go to a different gym. You can go somewhere else and not work as hard. Totally okay with that. But if you want to be great, if you want to reach your goals and be the best, then that's the place to be. Like, I can't say it enough how much it's great there.
I can't, it's hard to argue that, because like I said, with the friends that I know that I've trained there, the people that I've talked to, the pro fighters that I've talked to that I've trained there, again, the UFC veterans and fighters that are, it speaks for itself. So we'll leave it at that and we'll move forward. But so I've heard you mention that you have two specific goals written on your mirror, and both seem to be viable options in the very next couple of months. So I mean, come May, it looks like you might have to start thinking about some new goals, because these goals might be reached. These goals might just be obtained. Hey, got that done, ripped it off, got my black belt, ripped it. I mean, not saying you have, but it's obtainable coming up soon. You've said, you know, it's very due.
Oh, absolutely. It's happening. Like, they're on my mirror for a reason. Like, I have, and that came from what was I think that was Goggins. That was his thing with having the mirror, your accountability mirror. So I have my two main goals. Again, win the Bellator belt, and then get my jiu-jitsu black belt. Both of those that will be inevitable. The big one, obviously, being the belt. I've had other smaller goals that I put on there. When I achieve them, I take them off. And come May, come the end of April, you know, it's very likely that I will finally be able to take those off. They've been on there for 2 years plus, both of those goals, and I'm ready to be able to fulfill those, because they're going to stay on there until I do it. And once I put my mind to something, I'm going to work as hard as I possibly can to achieve those. And yeah, so might have to find some new goals. I'm not sure what it is. But
I'm not going to ask you about that. I don't even want to ask you about that because you have a full
We'll
plate in front of you right now, right? You have a full plate in front of you right now. So my question is I don't want to ask you about the goals in the future because you have everything in front of you right now. So my question was, being on the brink of accomplishing those goals, can you just talk to me about that feeling in itself? You're just right there.
Oh my gosh. It's the weirdest feeling in the world. Like, for the longest time, even though I had signed a contract for about a month before they finally announced it. And I was like, I need them to announce this because it doesn't feel real right now. Like, even though I had signed on the dotted line, it was a done deal. It's happening. Like, when he first called, I was like, I don't know. I have no words for what's happening right now. And then just waiting for them to announce it. And then the day they announced it, and I was like, okay, it's happening. And then some days I wake up and I'm like, it's surreal. Absolutely. Just because I've waited for this for so long. So it feels like I'm still dreaming. Like, I've dreamed this over and over and over again. And for it to actually be in the process of happening, like, it's crazy that, but I've worked so hard for this. And so I'm so grateful for it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm doing everything possible that I can because of it. Like, I don't want to give myself any reason for doubt. Not that I would, but sometimes I just don't believe it. I'm like, really? Me? Little awkward old me? Like, I'm just doing this for fun still. Oh, my phone. Sorry. I pushed my phone because yeah. Anyways, but yeah.
That's awesome. So I want you to paint a picture with me, if you will, a little Bob Ross painting of a picture as we start to close it down here. It's fight night, and you've made your walk to the cage. You gave your hugs to your coaches, Daniel Gracie, John Marquez, your fight corner check-in, the final corner check-in, checking if everything's good. The door closes. That Bellator closes right before the initial bell sounds for this epic rematch, main event of the evening. What's going through Deanna Bennett's head?
Oh man. I'm always a head case every single time with my fights. Like, I'm a head case. I'm in the back. Like, I've done this. I've had over 20 pro fights, and to this day, still I'm in the back getting my hands wrapped. Number one, I make a fisting joke because that's just who I am. And so we'll see who on the commission has a sense of humor or not. Some of them do not. Some of them did not go down.
I bet.
Some of them I was like, oh, so this is gonna be really awkward rest of the time while we're sitting here. All right, fisting jokes are a no-go here. So
I usually thrive on
Dakota.
That. Me too, I love the awkward questions. Before you even answer, I love the awkward questions and then how awkward it makes the other people feel. I thrive on that.
Oh, absolutely. That's like my favorite thing in the entire world, because I'm just awkward, and then I be awkward, and then I see their awkwardness, and then it's like, you don't know how to take this. And so I'm just going to keep going, because at this point, we're not stopping. So
we're in this together.
Going. We are absolutely in this together. It's amazing. So, but yeah, I always tell myself, and it comes back to my fourth pro fight. So my fourth pro fight, I had won my first three. I went up a weight class. I'm fighting Colleen Schneider. So it's her 16th pro fight, and it's my fourth. And I'm there in the corner, like ready, staged to go out. And I'm nervous because it's like, I'm fighting somebody who has 4 times as many fights as I have. Like, that's a big thing. And I went up a weight class. I didn't even cut weight. I literally just like drove around, delivered tickets, and showed up to weigh-ins like, hi, I'm here. So I'm like looking up at her. She had fought for Strike Force, like she had been around. And I'm in the back, and I'm like, crap, like, is this the one that am I gonna lose? Because like, I won all my amateur fights. I had won my first 3 pro fights, and I'm like, is this the one that takes the 0 away from me? Which is a terrible thought, first off. Like, the pressure that you put on people that are undefeated is ridiculous. I hate it. It was the worst thing. But I'm sitting in the back, and I was like, no, not at all. Like, this is my cage. This is my cage. This is everything that I've worked for. This is my home. This is where I'm happy. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do the very best that I can do. And so even to this day, like I was cornering one of my teammates for her very first MMA fight. And it's the same thing I tell to her. I'm like, listen, this is your cage. You've trained for this. These are your people. Their fans are out here. Your team is with you. This is your cage. Go do what you do every single day. And that's what I tell myself before every fight. I always talk to myself in my head, but before a fight it's different. And I'm telling myself like this is what I've trained for. This is what I've basically tailored my whole entire life around. Like all my friends are like married, having kids, doing that thing. And I'm like, well, I have a cat and I fight humans in a cage for a living. And I say it with a joke,
Yep.
but I fucking love it. I'm not going to lie. I love it. Like, so what? Like, maybe it's not society norms. We'll get to that eventually. So I'm going to win the belt and then maybe they'll force me to a reality dating show and I can actually have a social life. Just kidding. Please don't do that to me. But yeah, that's what I tell myself. When I get into the cage, I'm gonna look across the cage, I'm gonna see Liz Carmouche for the second time, and I'm gonna put my heart and soul into that fight.
How are you with giving predictions? Do you have a bold prediction?
Oh, predictions are the worst.
They are, but I mean, like it's one of those cliche
true.
things that we always have to ask.
Oh, of course. It wouldn't be right if you didn't ask. And it's
course.
funny because I was actually talking to one of my teammates this morning because like basically before a fight, for about a month before the fight, I basically think about all the scenarios that could happen in the fight. Like, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens? And the Liz Carmouche fight, the first one, I had to add another one to the list because never in a million years did I ever think that my hamstring was going to rip. So that added a new one to the list. I'm like, when you're thinking about what ifs, what could happen to fight, just so you know, randomly your hamstring could be like, boop, and pop off your hip. And so you have all of these different things that could happen, all these different variables that could happen. So that was the one that I never could predict. But now I have it on my arsenal of things that like, what if this happens? What if my other hamstring blows? But honestly, the only thing that I know for sure is that she's coming to retain that belt. She worked hard to win that belt, and I'm working hard to take that belt away from her. And it's going to be a tough fight. It's going to be a great fight. And I know we're both going to fight our hearts out with it. And so I know she's going to be looking for a finish. Like I saw what she did in her last fight. She's coming for a finish, and I'm not coming just to not lose. Like I'm coming to win, and I'm looking for a finish too. So I hope she puts everything out there and is looking for that finish because that's what I'm going to do.
Well, I can't wait to see you guys lock in the center of the cage in this epic main event. It is going to be fantastic. Really looking forward to this fight.
Even though I signed the fight and I knew it was the title fight, I still didn't believe that I was going to be the main event of a Bellator card. I'm not going to lie.
The main event of the evening for the flyweight title. Now I gotta ask.
I can't believe it.
Since I have you, I mean, it is a beautiful Hawaii. So obviously, again, you have your plate full. But anything to do? What are you going to do out in Hawaii afterwards? After you win that belt, let's say.
Everything. Me and the belt are gonna, number one, we're basically gonna like take all of the Hawaii supply of tequila. So hopefully they stock up for the weekend because me and my team are basically gonna drown ourselves in it. It's a thing. It is what it is. So I want to do everything. Like I've never been to Hawaii before, and so I'm taking the opportunity to enjoy the beach, enjoy the warm weather, because I don't know if you see this gloominess out here, but I'm smack dab in the middle of Philadelphia right now where it's cold and miserable, and that's why my face was all red because I was running outside. But nothing wrong. I love Philly. We good. Um, but I'm gonna enjoy the sun. I want to go hiking. I love being outdoors. That's like my
Yeah.
favorite thing in the world is being outdoors and hiking and just experiencing different stuff. And so I'm gonna get just lost on Hawaii for a couple of days or however long I want and just kind of do everything that I possibly can. My friend, she's actually pregnant. She's coming out. Her and her husband are gonna go to the fight and they're gonna make it like their baby moon.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah, so I'm excited. She like all of my Invicta fights, all of my like local fights, she was always in my corner. She
Mhm.
was like my hair braider, she's like one of my best friends.
That's cool.
And so she's making it out to this fight, which means the world to me, absolutely. But she's like, just so you know, the day after your fight, you and my husband are gonna go try and surf while I just sit my pregnant ass on the beach. And I was like,
Hey,
oh gosh. I mean, okay. I know I
surfing in
pretend to be an
Hawaii.
athlete, but that's why I was like, well, obviously I have to try. It's not going to be pretty, especially because I probably will be very hungover or possibly still drunk, but maybe that'll make it better. I don't know. We'll find
Well,
out.
I mean,
So,
I vacationed in Hawaii once. I will say I don't drink anymore, but when I did, the booze cruises were awesome. They were fantastic. Skydiving in Hawaii, seeing everything from a bird's eye view. Fantastic
that's
idea.
the one. I've never
Yes.
been skydiving. It's on my bucket list. It's happening.
I did it on my 25th birthday out in Hawaii when I went to visit. So I will highly suggest it. It was awesome. It was beautiful. You get to see everything from a bird's eye view. Absolutely wonderful. But then again,
Done
I was going
and
to say,
done.
with the Bellator champion, you can get anybody out there to teach you how to surf. You flash that belt and you're going to have pro surfers that are like, oh,
Hey.
I'll give you a free lesson. So I think you're in good
Yes,
company.
I like what you just said. Pro surfers, hello. Teach
See,
me.
there we go.
Teach
See,
me.
I'm just filling the ideas up.
This is perfect. I love this plan.
Now, before I let you go, but when you're getting on the plane to leave Hawaii, I know you said you're going to stop home in California. So getting to share this experience, I mean, with your friend that's on her baby moon out in Hawaii, with everything coming full circle, taking the belt back home, just encapsulate all of this journey and bringing it back home to California with you. Just put it into words if you can. If you can.
I don't even think I can. Like I said, it's been everything, and my cousin, who I'm really close with, she's coming out for the fight as well. So she's actually lives in San Jose, still in California, and I'm gonna have her there. She was actually there cage side when I fought in San Jose. And so I'm gonna go and visit with her, visit with the family, go visit my grandma's grave because I haven't been able to be out there yet because I missed her memorial service
I'm
when she
sorry.
got buried there in California. It is what it is. I've made peace with it now. She lived a good life, and so, but to be able to take that belt with me back to my hometown means a lot. It absolutely means a lot, and I love California, and I'm just I'm taking everything in that I can, every day at training, every day, like, oh, trust me, when fight week comes, I've been documenting everything, and this is just something that I won't forget. And I'm making the most of it. And like I said, training hard, working hard, making the most of everything.
Well, Deanna, the story is amazing. I love it. I can't wait to see being written, from the Ultimate Fighter to this rematch to everything that just went into your story. The story is fantastic. So I really like seeing it unfold. It was a pleasure to get to talk to you, and you have a
Thank
belt to go
you.
win. So I will let you go.
Yes, thank you. I know I go to go shower. I smell terrible. So woo, about that. But it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I'll have to talk to you again with the belt and toe next time.
Yes, ma'am. There she goes, Deanna Bennett, ladies and gentlemen. She is taking on Liz Carmouche. It is going down at Bellator 294 in Honolulu, Hawaii, April 21st for the Bellator Flyweight Championship. Make sure you check out her fight. Again, it'll be on Showtime Sports, and check out all the action as we will be doing live coverage here at mymmanews.com. Check us out for all your fight news needs.